The explosion threw Staff Sergeant Maya Chun against the concrete wall with bone-jarring force. Her radio crackled with static as dust settled around her in the abandoned warehouse. The communication equipment she had been monitoring lay scattered across the floor, sparking and useless. Through the shattered windows, she could hear enemy voices growing closer, their boots crunching on broken glass. Maya pressed herself against the wall, her heart hammering as she assessed her situation. Her unit had been extraction-bound when the ambush hit. Now she was alone, cut off from backup, with hostiles closing in on all sides. The weight of her standard-issue rifle felt foreign in her trembling hands. She had trained for this scenario countless times, but always as the communications specialist, never as the primary combatant. Before we dive into this story, drop a comment and let us know what state you're watching from. Maybe you have witnessed similar acts of courage where you are from. The sound of approaching footsteps echoed through the empty building. Maya forced herself to breathe slowly as she crept deeper into the warehouse shadows. The enemy voices were getting louder, more organized. She could distinguish at least 6 different speakers, maybe more. Her fingers found the backup radio clipped to her vest, and she carefully adjusted the frequency to the emergency channel. Static filled her earpiece before a desperate voice broke through the interference. Delta 7 to any station. We are pinned down approximately 2 clicks northeast of Warehouse District. The voice transmitted with barely controlled panic. Heavy casualties. Need immediate extraction or air support. Maya recognized the call sign. Delta 7 was Lieutenant Rodriguez, part of the SEAL team that had been providing overwatch for her unit's mission. She keyed her radio quietly, keeping her voice barely above a whisper. Delta 7, this is Comm Specialist Chun. I copy your transmission. What is your current tactical situation? The relief in Rodriguez's voice was immediate. Chun, thank God. We took an RPG hit to our vehicle and lost half the team. 3 wounded, ammunition running low. Enemy forces have us surrounded in a 2-story building with limited visibility. Maya studied the warehouse layout through the broken windows, her mind automatically calculating angles and distances. Rodriguez's position was northeast, roughly 1,800 meters from her current location. She could see muzzle flashes in the distance, sporadic but intense. The enemy had positioned themselves well, using the urban terrain to their advantage. Delta 7, I need you to give me exact coordinates and enemy positions if you can see them, Maya whispered in her radio. Rodriguez's breathing was labored as he responded. Grid reference 7 Fort Woe by 9008. Enemy snipers on rooftops to our south and east, maybe 4 positions. Ground forces approaching from the west, estimated squad strength. Maya's eyes narrowed as she processed the information. From her elevated position in the warehouse, she had clear sight lines to at least 3 of those enemy positions. Her fingers unconsciously adjusted the scope mounts on her rifle, muscle memory from countless hours of training she had never mentioned in her official records. The closest enemy sniper was approximately 400 meters away, positioned behind a concrete barrier on a rooftop. An easy shot for someone with the right skills. Maya positioned herself behind a concrete pillar, steadying her rifle against the rough surface. The enemy sniper on the nearest rooftop had no idea he was being watched. She controlled her breathing, feeling her heartbeat slow as years of suppressed training took over. The wind was minimal, maybe 3 miles per hour from the southwest. Temperature was dropping as evening approached, which would affect bullet trajectory over longer distances. She had done these calculations thousands of times before, but never in actual combat. Delta 7, I have eyes on your position, she transmitted quietly. Stand by for covering fire. Rodriguez's voice crackled back with confusion. Chun, negative, you are communications only. We need you to call for air support, not engage. But Maya was already lining up her shot. The enemy sniper shifted slightly, presenting a cleaner target profile. 412 meters, slight downward angle, minimal wind drift compensation needed. Her finger found the trigger as she exhaled slowly. The shot rang out across the warehouse district echoing off the concrete buildings. Through her scope, she watched the enemy sniper slump forward, his weapon clattering to the rooftop. Rodriguez's voice exploded through the radio with disbelief. "What the hell was that, Chun? Did you just take out that sniper?" Maya was already shifting position, moving to a different window as enemy forces below began scanning for the shooter's location. She ignored Rodriguez's question, focusing instead on the second sniper position she had identified earlier. The target was further away, maybe 600 meters on a building to the southeast. Much more challenging shot, especially with the crosswind that had picked up. "I have visual on second hostile sniper," she transmitted calmly, adjusting position for better angle. "Chun, you need to explain what just happened," Rodriguez insisted, his voice tight with confusion and hope. "Are you qualified marksman?" Maya chambered another round, her movements fluid and practiced. The second enemy sniper was good, using cover effectively and only exposing himself for brief moments. She would have to time this perfectly, waiting for him to lean out to take his own shot at the SEAL position. There, a shoulder appeared behind the concrete barrier. Maya adjusted for the increased distance, compensating for bullet drop and wind drift. Her breathing steadied as she found that familiar zone of perfect focus. The second shot cracked through the evening air with deadly precision. Maya watched through her scope as the distant enemy sniper jerked backward, his weapon spinning away across the rooftop. 600 meters with crosswind compensation. The shot had been perfect, threading between concrete barriers with millimeter accuracy. Rodriguez's voice came through the radio with stunned amazement. "Jesus Christ, Chun, that was impossible. How did you make that shot?" Maya was already scanning for the third sniper position, her training taking complete control now. The adrenaline that should have been making her hands shake was instead sharpening her focus to a razor's edge. She had spent years hiding this part of herself, pretending to be just another communications specialist. But these SEALs are going to die unless she acted. Third hostile located, building northeast, approximately 700 meters, she reported with professional calm. The enemy was adapting now, realizing they had a serious threat targeting their overwatch positions. Muzzle flashes erupted from multiple ground positions as they tried to locate her. Concrete chips exploded around Maya's position as return fire peppered the warehouse walls. She rolled away from the window, already planning her next move to a different vantage point. The glass conference room gleamed under fluorescent lights as Marcus Chun pushed his cleaning cart between leather chairs worth more than his monthly rent. Each surface reflected the city lights 40 floors below, a reminder of worlds that existed far above his reach. His daughter, Emma, sat cross-legged in the employee break room, pencil moving steadily across homework pages, her dark hair falling like a curtain around her focused face. Marcus paused at the massive mahogany table, running his cloth along its polished surface. Tomorrow morning, this room would host executives whose decisions moved millions of dollars with casual signatures. Tonight, it belonged to him and the quiet rhythm of his work. Emma looked up from her math problems, catching his eye through the glass partition. Before we dive into this story, drop a comment and let us know what state you're watching from. Maybe these workplace dynamics are familiar where you're from. The 80-year-old smiled and returned to her studies, surrounded by the gentle hum of building systems and the distant whisper of traffic below. Marcus continued his methodical cleaning, unaware that in just minutes, his carefully constructed world of invisibility would shatter completely. The sound of boots pounding up the warehouse stairs echoed through the building as Maya lined up her most difficult shot yet. 730 meters to a target no bigger than her fist. The enemy sniper was good, moving with careful precision as he tracked the SEAL team below. Maya had perhaps 30 seconds before the ground forces reached her level. She exhaled slowly, finding that perfect moment between heartbeats where everything became crystal clear. The crosswind gusted, then settled. The enemy sniper leaned forward slightly, exposing just enough of his head for a clean shot. Maya squeezed the trigger with practiced precision. The bullet traveled for nearly 3 seconds before finding its mark. Through her scope, she saw the enemy sniper drop instantly. "Chun, that was over 700 meters." Rodriguez's voice came through with pure disbelief. "Who the hell are you really?" Maya was already moving, grabbing her rifle as enemy soldiers burst through the stairway door. She rolled behind a concrete pillar as automatic weapons fire erupted, concrete fragments exploding around her position. The SEAL team was safe from sniper fire now, but she had exposed herself completely. There was no way to reach the stairs without crossing open ground under heavy fire. Maya counted 8 enemy soldiers spreading across the warehouse floor below her, their movements coordinated and professional. They knew exactly where she was now, and they were closing the trap methodically. She keyed her radio one last time, her voice steady despite the impossible situation. "Delta 7, this is Chun. All enemy snipers neutralized. You have clear extraction route to the northeast." Rodriguez's response was immediate and desperate. "Negative, Chun. We are not leaving you behind. What's your extraction plan?" Maya smiled grimly as bullets continued to pepper her concrete cover. There was no extraction plan. She had bought the SEAL team their lives, and that would have to be enough. But then her training kicked in again, the part of her that had never accepted impossible odds. These soldiers thought they had her trapped, but they had made one critical mistake. They were all focused upward, assuming she would try to fight her way down the stairs. Maya looked toward the far end of the warehouse where a loading crane extended over the adjacent building. The cable system was still intact, and the neighboring structure was only about 40 meters away. It was insane, but it might work. She began moving along the catwalk, staying low as enemy fire tracked her position. Maya reached the loading crane as enemy soldiers stormed up the stairs behind her. The cable stretched across to the adjacent building like a steel lifeline, but it was designed for cargo, not humans. She clipped her rifle sling to the cable system and grabbed hold, launching herself into empty space 40 feet above the street. Enemy muzzle flashes erupted from the warehouse windows as she slid down the cable, bullets whining past her head. She crashed through the window of the neighboring building, rolling hard across broken glass and debris. Blood streamed from cuts on her arms, but she was alive and mobile. More importantly, she now had elevated position over the enemy forces who were still focused on the warehouse. Through the radio, Rodriguez's voice crackled with amazement. "Chun, did you just zip line across buildings under fire?" Maya was already setting up at the new window, her rifle trained on the warehouse where enemy soldiers were regrouping. She could see their commander now, a tall figure in tactical gear, directing the search from the warehouse floor. 800 meters, moving target, multiple obstacles. This would be the shot that ended it. Maya settled into her firing position, her breathing controlled and her mind calculating every variable. Wind speed, bullet drop, target movement pattern, concrete deflection angles. "Confirmed kill on enemy commander," Maya responded quietly. "The remaining hostile forces are in full retreat." Rodriguez's voice came through the radio with pure amazement. "Chun, I need to know who you really are." Those shots were impossible for a standard communications specialist. Maya watched the surviving enemy soldiers fleeing into the night. Their organized assault turned into panicked retreat by a single marksman they never saw coming. She keyed her radio one final time. "Staff Sergeant Maya Chun, Army Scout Sniper School graduate, classified, designation Phantom 7. I have been operating undercover assignment for the past 3 years." Rodriguez was silent for a long moment before responding. "Phantom 7? That is one of the most elite sniper programs in the military. Command is going to want a full debrief on this operation." Maya smiled as she began breaking down her rifle for extraction. The cover was blown now, but it no longer mattered. The mission was complete, and good soldiers were going home alive. As helicopter rotors echoed in the distance, she reflected on the strange turn of events that had forced her to reveal her true capabilities. If you enjoyed this story, please drop a comment and let us know your favorite part or if you have witnessed similar acts of hidden courage in real life.